Well, hello everybody again, and welcome back. And today it's my privilege and my pleasure to welcome to Coffee Shop Sunday online worship our friend Matt Beckingham. And we're going to have a brief chat about a few things, but I'm just going to hand over to Matt to tell you all a bit about himself.
Thanks so much.
Welcome, Matt.
Oh, thanks so much, Trevor. It's really lovely to be with you all. Trevor and I was just chatting, and I hear I've been involved in your worship and singing, and so that's a real privilege to have shared in that. And so it's lovely to come and speak with you today and share in your worship. I just thought I might share a little bit about my journey and my kind of work now, if that's of interest. But so I started my spiritual musical start, I guess, as a chorister at Manchester Cathedral when I was knee high to a grasshopper, that was a really wonderful time. It's funny, at the time it felt very straightforward, but looking back, actually, we were worked pretty hard as choristers. It was a 7-day a week job, really, between going into for school and then services Saturday, Sunday, and so it was a kind of really formative time. And there was one experience that particularly actually formed my career now, that happened when I was 9 or 10, I think, which was I think it was a Thursday morning, and every morning we'd walk across from the school, which was across the road from the cathedral, and we'd all process across to the cathedral and go into our rehearsal room. And so the day was going on as normal, doing that, walking across, going to our rehearsal room, but then we're told, oh, you've got to move rooms and go and rehearse in another part of the cathedral because an IRA bomb threat had been called in on that side of the cathedral, where we'd ordinarily rehearse. So we all moved across, and then sure enough, mid rehearsal there was then a large explosion, and
Wow.
as it happened, as was actually, I think it was one of the old ploys the IRA used to do, which was call in a bomb threat in one area and actually then explode a bomb in another area, and that was the case here. And so actually we'd moved closer to where the bomb was, and so I can vividly remember the sound in the cathedral of this explosion ringing round. And so then the rest of the day kind of continued, and with the kind of chaos in the city of what happens when there's a bomb explosion. And then it came to the end of the school. It was school day at 4:30. And at which point the city was still under lockdown, a different kind of lockdown to these days.
Yes.
And so that area of the city you couldn't get in nor out. And so all the choristers went back over to the cathedral to rehearse for the evening evensong. But of course, we were all really aware that no one was going to be able to attend this act of worship because nobody could get into the city for it. And so we were slightly disgruntled, I guess, in the rehearsal. And so the music director at the time, a guy called Stuart Beer, said to us, "It doesn't matter if there's one man and a dog in this evening's evensong. We're going to rehearse, and we're going to rehearse to make this the best we can possibly offer, because we don't offer it to the congregation, we offer it to God." Right. And that's something that's kind of stuck with me ever since then, that idea that actually, as a musician, what I do is not for, when I'm doing my classical work, is not for the audience, who are kind of part of the experience, but actually that all we do is being offered to God, and to try and offer the best we can. And so that's kind of led me really into this work as a musician, as a conductor, and as a now putting out these videos as well, and singing. And
what a profound story that is, Matt. How old were you when this bomb occurred?
I must have been 9 or 10, I guess.
Wow.
Yeah, it was quite young.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's funny looking back and how that kind of resonates still. Yeah.
Yeah. Interesting you say about God at the center. that's one of the things that we've said in Coffee Shop Sunday, that whatever we do and whatever people believe or make of it being successful, we must always remember it's for God and for no
Yeah,
one else, for no one else. He must always be at the center of all
yeah.
that we do. I love the one man and a dog story. Sometimes when I go to preach at small churches and almost apologize to there's only 8 of us today, and for me it's just wonderful.
Yeah,
You know, there's that where 2 or more are gathered, there am I also.
yeah, absolutely.
Anyway, carry on. I've interrupted your story.
No, 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 no. Well,
Yeah.
it's just really. I mean, that's so now. Yeah, I'm really privileged that I get to do
Mm,
as a job what I do for a hobby,
fantastic.
and get to make music and so yes, yeah, so 2 of the organisations which are kind of particularly of interest, I guess, is a group I work with called One Sound, and some of the artistic director of them, and some of your, if there's any Methodists who've been in Methodism for a while might remember an organisation called MAYC, who always used to gather for the London weekend, and so One Sound was kind of born out of the MAYC Orchestra and Singers, and so that's our kind of background, and so I'm really pleased to be able to kind of play some role in helping that work continue. I'm really blessed that there's such a wonderful got such a wonderful group of young people. In fact, Toby Fox
Yes.
is part of One Sound, and yeah, it's a really special group, and seeing seeing people come together to kind of share in their faith and share their musical gifts is something really special.
That's great. And just for the viewers, Toby is the son of Steve Fox, who is our techie man. I'm sure
Yeah.
he's a lot more than that, but Steve looks after all our techie stuff. And it's actually through Steve and Toby that we came across Matt. So, yeah, Steve is very much part of Coffee Shop Sunday.
Yeah.
And Toby has also helped us.
Yeah, excellent. Oh, that's lovely. Yeah, yeah. And so it's been nice. It's been nice recently to kind of see for me to bring together One Sound, as it's now called, along with this new Methodist choir I set up, which was kind of really in response to. Well, the launch ended up being in response to lockdown and what was happening with COVID-19, as we kind of launched as this virtual church choir. And it's amazing how what God does with these little ideas. Whereas at the very beginning was maybe hoping we might have 100 people might gather together online. It's kind of blossomed, and I think over 1,500 people now have signed up as members and take part in various different videos. I mean, I should make it clear, not 1,500 people don't sing in every single video. I've been there a very long time, yeah, editing that. But yeah, it's wonderful that it seems to have resonated with so many people, and yeah, so we're really blessed that we've received these wonderful words of encouragement from Matt Redman and Stuart Townend, and sung with Lou Fellingham and Graham Kendrick, and we're about to record a song by Howard Goodall, who's a Emmy, Britain, BAFTA winning composer, and it's really and actually we're doing an old Charles Wesley hymn, Love Divine, but his setting of Love Divine. So that's really wonderful to.
We look forward to that.
Yeah. I think it's the most beautiful setting. I mean, it's not a hymnal setting, but it's just the most beautiful bit of melody writing. And Goodall speaks about how he, for that song, for his setting of those words, he was kind of playing around with it overnight in his head, and then speaks of he got into the shower, and while he was showering, in his head, the song kind of played, or his new version played from beginning to end in totality. And then he stepped out of the shower, got dried, and then just wrote it down. And spoke about it like he receives a gift. for his compositions. So yeah, it's amazing, amazing how those things, those
Yeah,
sort
and
of,
God speaks to us even in the shower.
yeah, absolutely, yeah.
That's wonderful. I got Matt's video today of "And Can It Be" your version. It's
Great.
of course a traditional great Wesley hymn.
Yeah, yeah,
One of the classics, I suppose. And, it's lovely
yeah.
to hear Matt singing that. So you look that up on YouTube. It's a great version. Um,
Yeah,
Great, Matt. I was going to say that we are so grateful to you for all that you do for us, and we've used your material in many settings, prayer sessions, worship sessions, and they're really helpful and useful and great for us to do that. So thank you again for that. I just wondered, we're using lockdown to produce online um, sessions in prayer and worship. And I just wonder, this word hybrid church is beginning to emerge in the vocabulary of churches. And I think Coffee Shop Sunday, when we get back to meeting physically in Costa, we want to retain an online presence.
mm.
Um, I just wondered about your learning during lockdown, how you feel about online worship, really, and the place for it.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I think I think the cat's out of the bag now. There's no, there's no, there's no going back, because I
Right.
think it's just so important actually that we're able to. I don't know if it feels a real Holy Spirit thing, to have been led to a place of actually no longer uh, doing what we do within the four walls of a church building, but actually stepping out and putting it on YouTube, and do you dare leave your comments open, and all of that, and actually to be bold and share, to share our faith in that public environment, I think is so important, especially for those who might be just exploring what Christianity is and what faith is. And I think it's a really useful thing that actually we're able to publicly share what our faith is and what our beliefs are. And I think as we look forwards, I'm hoping that, and don't get me wrong by this, but I hope that we don't return to the old normal.
Oh,
Actually, we'll reach a place where
yeah, yeah,
we've got a new normal. And I
yeah.
think I think over lockdown I've certainly missed being able to stand alongside my friends in church and be able to sing together and enjoy the fellowship in that kind of physical sense. But going forwards, I think it would be a real joy to be able to do both things, to be able to
Yes.
see
Yeah.
each other properly,
I
and
think
but then also share online.
I think you said I wouldn't want to upset or get the wrong impression. I think with the people who support Coffee Shop Sunday, you're on solid ground there, Matt. You don't need to worry. I think we've discussed, do we really want to go back to normal? What
Yeah,
was normal? In fact, I think the overwhelming feeling is that there's a lot of fantastic things about the old normal that we would want to keep,
yeah,
but we also want to learn from the new.
yeah.
So, so certainly you're on solid ground. You're not I don't think you'll be controversial in say. I read something recently, an article. I can't remember the author now. I must look it up again. But the article was saying, "I hope we don't go back to normal."
Yeah.
I think it's meant to be. It's not meant to be particularly controversial. It was just a statement that things have
Yeah,
changed.
yeah, and I think,
I love your the cat's out of the bag as well.
well, I think it's it's just been this time of lots of people are talking about it's lots of churches celebrating harvest at the moment, and I think in some ways for our kind of church buildings and kind of the church in the traditional sense, then it's been the kind of a fallow period of where where I'm hoping that actually once there's been this wonderful uprising of new work and new ways of being church, that actually when we reach a point where we do return to however it was that we were doing church beforehand, we might see that as a real fertile ground and a place of welcome and openness to all. I think that'd be a great place to be. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Matt. It's really good of you to allow us to have some of your time. I know how busy you are, so we do really appreciate it, and thank you again. Maybe one day, I don't know, at some point in Coventry, you may be able to visit Coffee Shop Sunday.
Oh, I'd love to. Yeah, that'd be great.
And that would be great for you to come along and meet us all.
Yeah.
But could I just say thank you on behalf of everybody? And if you don't mind, we'll keep using your material.
No, you're very welcome to it.
We always,
And everything. Yeah.
yeah. And good luck with the choir and One Sound.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, and if you wouldn't mind just keeping in your prayers for the National Methodist Choir. So far, is when it launched, everything has been just kind of given on a voluntary basis. But now, as it goes forwards, we're just looking to try and put things on a slightly firmer footing so that it's sustainable going forwards. And so we've launched a crowdfunding appeal. So if you wouldn't mind just keeping that in your prayers, that might resonate with people. That'd be really wonderful.
We have 4 prayer sessions a week online, and we have a prayer list. So I will add that.
Lovely, thank you. That's great.
Prayer list, so you'll have a lot of people praying for you. But good luck with that, Matt. And once again, thank you so much. We'll be using this on our next online worship. So that will be a week on Sunday.
Thanks
again.
Thanks so much. All right, take care.
Bye. Well, this is the second part of our 3-part story of Coffee Shop Sunday. The first part last time was about how the idea was born, and now I want to spend a few moments today just reflecting on the time between the 1st of December 2019, just 10 months ago, up to March when lockdown arrived. And in that time, we managed to have 8 physical gatherings at Costa Coffee in the Gallica Retail Park in Coventry. We meet every alternate Sunday, so we were only able to have 8 sessions. At the first one, we had 22 people in attendance, and by the time lockdown arrived, we had 57 people at one gathering, which was just amazing. People seemed to enjoy it. We decided that we would have a different language than traditional church. So we refer to our get-together as gatherings. We use the word talks rather than sermons. There'll be interviews, interactions, and no traditional sermon. We talk about songs rather than hymns, and language is important. So what happened? Well, we managed to open our sessions at 4:30, and from 4:30 to 5, we had a keyboard player, Marcus, playing some Christian and some non-Christian music, and the customers were still in Costa Coffee, which closes at 5. And so we welcomed them and we asked them if they wanted to stay with us, and many did. So at 5 o'clock, we then had a time of worship, which lasted for 45 minutes. And in that time, as I say, we decided to use poetry, drama, interview, interactive discussions, and deliberately and intentionally, it was non-traditional in the sense of the church that we've become used to. We attracted a number of people who we knew in our circuit, but significantly about 40% of the people who attended we didn't know. And some of them came again, some of them didn't come again, but they were all touched by God. We say that Coffee Shop Sunday is about meeting God in an ordinary place. And so our worship went on around what people were doing, and there are so many lovely stories about people who stayed with us and enjoyed the worship time we had together. The Costa staff were just terrific. The management of Costa and the staff are very much part of our team, and they were clearing the store as they close at 6 whilst we were worshipping, and it was just amazing, and we want to look forward to seeing that again as soon as we can get back into having physical worship in Costa Coffee. We decided that we would operate on a team basis, so we have a welcoming team, a music team, admittedly a very small music team, mainly Marcus. We have a prayer team, and we have a worship planning team. So we used to meet between our fortnightly sessions to debrief about the last session and then plan the forthcoming gathering. And that team concept will carry on and has carried on through the online worship time, which I'll talk about next time. So that's a brief summary of what went on. We pay for the coffee of people who are in the store. That's part of our budget, and that's an important part of the whole experience. People are drinking coffee and eating if they wish whilst we're worshipping. We want to be an opportunity to meet God in an ordinary place where people are doing ordinary things. Next time, I'm going to be reflecting on what's happened since March, when we've been online in Coffee Shop Sunday rather, and reporting to you and updating you on what's been happening then, and also maybe thinking ahead about where we go from here. So thank you for watching, and Jesus Christ is my living hope, and we very much look forward to being back at Costa as soon as we possibly can. Bye for now.